So guys, I want to talk about the 48-hour film project, and I'm planning to do two more videos about experiences that have really not been great for me, and then the lessons that I've learned. And then I ultimately have some positive videos to share because, ultimately, it's not good to come off like a little bitch when with something, like always talk negatively about something. And then the other thing too is that a lot of the things that I want to share are either just about things I disagree with the organization, just so they're more motivated to get everybody a good experience and a fair experience, but also to share some stories where I've definitely made some mistakes. So because I'm not perfect as well, I'm not saying either. And then the other thing is that there's lessons that we can learn from my story on how we all can be better. And I do want to talk about like the first year I did the 48-hour film project, and did it for a city that I had an issue with. And I don't even want to say the name of the city because, I still want to add some more drama. But I did it for this city, and what happened was, like, the year prior, I worked on a team, didn't have a good experience, and the team leader was kind of like a jerk to me. So, we broke off and went in our own direction. So the next year, I was doing a bunch of different 48-hour film projects, like participating in different cities and really learning and growing some skills. So this was like going to be like the fifth one that I did. And the week before it, I was doing like the one in the week before I was doing like one in Rhode Island, and then like a few weeks before that one, I was doing one in New York City. And what happened was I felt really, really good. And then I met the city producer of the city that I was going to do it for. And they kind of set up both of those events, the Rhode Island event and the New Haven event. I don't remember your film or whatever. So automatically I had to learn that that's a bad sign. That just means that they don't respect you. And also I wasn't that good of a filmmaker at that time. So there was also kind of that thing about, well, I don't respect you because you are making crappy films. And then also, maybe I believe in myself to get better. I'm very driven, and also I'm very naive. So there could be a sense of wanting to just, hurt me because they don't want me kind of being known as this, very ambitious person, because because being driven is a very charismatic personality. So it's almost like wanting to just hurt feelings, just to change somebody. And then the other thing is just saying, I don't respect you because you're making crappy movies. So, fuck whatever you're doing for the 48-hour film project. So, I did it for this city, and it was actually my home city. So, what happened was they had like a meet and greet event, and I remember going there, and there was this woman that I know there was this guy there who was friends with the city producers, and I've said his name before in another video, Doug, and he said, it's great that a black man is doing the 40-hour film project this year. Like in this city, there's not a lot of black people, so I felt very angry when that was said, because I felt like, well, isn't this just like when I went to college and people were saying things like, I had professors call me black boy, black man, or, oh great, we have a black student. And I'm actually over 80% white, so I felt very angry. And then it was weird because I had a thought in my head, like I should just walk out of there and just not do the competition. Like, even though I paid the entrance fee, I had a motivation in my body to be like, you know what? My gut feeling is saying that I need to walk away because this is going to cause me a lot of pain. But I ignored that. I gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. And then another thing that happened was that there's this woman that when like Doug was saying this, like he and the city producer, they were both like grinning with me and kind of going, and kind of gave me that type of look, really. So, when I kind of decipher it, I just felt like it was another example of people just thinking that they can treat me whatever type of way, or maybe I read as naive. So, oh, well, I can even say something personal about this person's race. And then there was this other person that was like an actress that was kind of like all over the place. And she was like asking if I could join her team, and she was kind of like, a little out there. One thing she said was that, Byron, you're a black man. You're just, let me guess, you're just a black guy who wants to work with other black people. And then I got really, really angry. Like, I kind of had some angry thoughts in my head. And then I left feeling kind of like, a little like, here we go again. Another time in my life where my race is actually a talking point, or people don't want to know me, the person, people want to know me, the black man. Or I was like saying, well, like, this is a mostly white area, so they definitely want to have their token minority. So I did my 40-hour film project for the city. It was a piece of crap, but the child actress that I had did a really, really good job. And what happened was it lost to somebody who was on screen less than 10 seconds, twiddling their thumbs, and only said one line. And then I also found out that people were saying things to me like her father was a judge. There are also people at the award show saying things like, you know what, it's clearly the city producer picking favorites. And then I also saw like posts on that page where she and the other judges were going to, like, I think a wine vineyard or something like that, and they're all talking about winners and losers. And then this city producer, and everything I'm saying is alleged because, this person's not here to defend themselves, and I'm not trying to discredit this person. They're saying things like, you know what, like that year the winning film is that year they're doing something. They're dividing the 48-hour film project into a district, meaning that all the New England states are competing against each other instead of all the 50 states. So that way you get like a slot at the Cannes Film Festival. So, and then this person was also saying that they pull favorites with Mark Rupert to give their city and other New England cities an edge. So it was ultimately that typical thing of ignoring the red flags. And just like, it goes over my head or whatever. But I felt very, very hurt when my film lost to somebody. And then I was kind of bitching about it on Facebook. I was more mad that my child actress put in a really, really good effort. And I was really working hard to build my skills. And I was very dedicated. And this felt like a fuck you to me. And then also, like, I expressed my frustrations online. The city producer sent me a message about the issues with my film. They said something that felt like bullshit to me, which was that your film was so dark that we didn't know who was speaking, when actually I was using silhouette. And actually people in the audience were like saying they liked my uses of silhouettes. And then they were also saying something in the email like, everybody knows that these actresses can act. That's the only good thing about your film. So I really read it as this state producer saying to me that, your film was a piece of shit, and the only good thing, the only like notable things that your child actors are doing a great job. And then she ended it with, "I'm just saying." And I brought this up to Mark Rupert because I felt very, very disrespected, and I felt very, very hurt and very, very angry, and almost like I wanted to put hands on this person. Like, not that I'm a violent person, these are just thoughts in my head, because I kind of was like, you know what, how dare you disrespect me? How dare you send me a very snarky message? And we've had conversations before, and I remember the state producer saying something like, screw you and fuck you was the philosophy filmmakers live by. Or, if you don't turn your film on time, people are going to say something like, what, screw you, and thanks for the money, and best of luck next year. So it was kind of very clear that this city producer had some very, very passive-aggressive behavior. And I actually remember one time she was sending out an email to everybody saying, okay, 40-hour film project, is a good opportunity. Like, what else are you going to do this weekend? What the hell else are you going to do this weekend? So there always seemed to be some snootiness, some snobbiness, some, just being a jerk type of thing. And I honestly think that when I dissect it, like, this person's issue was really just, I think maybe this person thought they were what's the word, a professional, or like a guru, or just like a know-it-all, or just like, you know what, I know what I'm doing. And And then this person was really about, you know what, making friends with the right people and other things like that. Like just saying, you know what, there's a clique, and you know, wake up and smell the politics and stuff like that. But ultimately, it was kind of bad because, you know, this is like the issue with me, Byron, is that, you know, I was very naive, and I just had to kind of understand that, okay, well, people are talking about my race, and I'm just the black kid showing up. You just stay the fuck away. And ultimately, you never ever prove yourself to people who don't respect you, because that's a wasted energy, and that's also not respect for yourself. Because I came back like 4 or 5 more times and helped out and did films in that competition or participated on teams, and I always received severe amounts of disrespect by other filmmakers or by that city producer. So, you know, if someone's not working out the first time, what the hell is going to work out the 5th or 6th time? And then ultimately, if you keep coming back every single time, they're going to be like, oh, well, this guy's too damn stupid to realize that we don't respect him. The same way you look at how Butters keeps being friends with Cartman, or keeps doing sleepovers with Cartman, when we all know what's going on. So, you know, it's very unfortunate that it left with very hurt feelings. And it was also bad because after I reported it to Mark Rupert, nothing came out of it. And I just received more passive-aggressive treatment for the following years and other things like that. And that was not right, because it really kind of showed to me, and I even hate saying this about Mark, that he has 2 issues. Like, number one, either he just wanted to ignore me because, you know, that's the easiest thing to do. You know, like, have me kind of just, you know, get my feelings hurt and move on from the competition and really take her side, because obviously she's making him a lot of money by, like, running the city. Or the next thing is that, as I said, like, being a little manipulated by her and just kind of siding with her, and then also being like, well, she makes me money. This guy does all these 48s, but you know what? This person's like, you know, like bringing 30, 40 people. So, you know, I'm making like $5,000. So I'd rather just ignore Byron. Maybe one day Byron's going to be mad about the competition and then just walk away from it forever. But this person's always going to be making me $5+ a year. So I'm going to just, you know, ignore how he feels. And then it kind of made me feel like, you know, there's definitely, as I've said in other videos, a double standard with respect. And then that's not good, because, you know, again, like, one thing I'm trying to encourage with the 40 Hour Film Project and my experiences is that this is why I want other people to talk about good experiences and bad experiences, because nobody has the right to disrespect you. And I'm not going to tolerate that. And I did get disrespected many times, and I felt like there was a lot of passive-aggressive treatment, and I was taken advantage of because they thought that I was naive. And some people thought that I was autistic. So it honestly kind of looks like people were pointing out my race and thinking that I was special needs or behind socially, that they could disrespect me. So it was ultimately a very bad experience. But I came back a couple more times and I had a worse experience. And I walked away with a severe form of trauma from this 40 Hour Film Project City and experiences I've had there. So you ultimately just have to realize if something's a bad investment, don't invest more into it. And then the other thing too is that sometimes people just don't respect you for whatever reason, and they're not going to just take accountability for it. They're just assholes in the world. And then also the other thing I learned is that sometimes when you have an issue with a city producer and you report them, you never ever go back to their city, because they will be passive aggressive and treat you badly, because that did happen to me. So, you know, just be very, very careful. And if something's not working out, don't continue that relationship, you know. So I wish I got out of it in 2015, and that'd be that, really. And I would also kind of say too that I used to do like between 12 and 8 48-hour film projects a year. And I was also thinking about like doing some travel videos or taking helicopters or helping Mark Rupert make a bunch of promos. Or he reached out to me one time and said I should do a video log of traveling to different 40-hour film project cities. But it was generally this experience with this city producer that kind of prevented me from wanting to do self-advertisements for the 40 Hour Film Project by doing either video logs or making commercials for them by like running out helicopters, or even like participating 8 or 9 times a year or 6 times a year for the next couple of years. So they lost a lot of money, and they lost a lot of opportunity to work with somebody who actually really cared about their competition and really just was very, very driven. So, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, as I learned, they pick and choose who they want to respect and disrespect. So I'm happy to get this video out here. And I have one more video to talk about negative experiences, that I am done with negative experience videos. And the last thing I have to say is that everything I'm saying in these videos are alleged, and none of my intention is to hurt an individual or hurt the 40 Hour Film Project. It's ultimately just to say that here are some issues, and I hope the competition to be better from it.